Hi everybody, this is Bill from Travel Tips by Bill. Want to talk to you today about safety and security when it comes to traveling to Egypt. And honestly, a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about aren't specific to Egypt, but traveling overall. Egypt is probably one of the safest countries I've been to. And most people, when I tell them that I'm going to Egypt, their first question out of their mouth is, "Oh my God, is that a safe place for Americans to go?" It absolutely is. As a matter of fact, the homicide rate in Egypt, murder rate, is 13 times lower than it is here in the United States. Other situations you can get into that can cause concern or get you into trouble? Absolutely there are. And I'm going to cover how to prepare for some of those so that you're not taken by surprise or you don't become a victim. And again, this applies to most places. There are some things that are here on the table that are kind of unique to Egypt that I'll touch on, but a lot of these things are just day in and day out practices that you, as a traveler, should be employing to just make sure that you're safe and the people that you're taking with you on these trips are safe as well. Last time I was there, the type of crimes that I saw were really, really minor. There were, types of pickpockets, people lifting stuff, and the other thing that I saw was groping of women. Some of the things you're going to be surprised about when you get there, if you haven't traveled much, especially to Muslim countries, is, and not just Muslim countries, but overall, you're going to see a lot of military and law enforcement there, both in uniformed and ununiformed, carrying automatic weapons. While that may look intimidating up front, you really need to think about it that they're there to protect you. Egypt is very concerned about the tourism that's happening. It's a big part of their economic output, and they want to continue to grow that. You're going to see tight security all over the country. You're going to go through numerous checkpoints. This is one of those countries that you travel to that you're going to want to keep your passport on you, and we'll talk about passports here in a few minutes. You're also going to see a lot of tight security at some of the ancient sites. You're going to see it even at your hotel. The hotel that I stayed at in Cairo last time, they had a gate. It was gated. And before you could even get in with your vehicle, they had to bring you in one-on-one in the vehicle. The vehicle was then, they had a bomb-sniffing dog that walked around the vehicle. The guard also went around the vehicle with mirrors looking for bombs, checked the trunk, and checked our paperwork even before we could get to the front door of the hotel. Once into the hotel, expect that you're going to go through the same style of security that you're going to see at the airport. X-rays, things like that for your baggage as well as your personal stuff. And again, while it may seem a bit much, it's there to protect you. So don't let these things scare you or concern you. Kind of embrace it. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of times that I was over there that I felt safer in Egypt than I do back home in the States. The other dangerous thing you're going to see when you're there and be surprised about is the traffic. Cairo specifically is one of the largest cities in the world. Don't rent a car there. It is utter chaos. When I was there one day, my personal driver kind of made me feel like I was in some sort of NASCAR race. He literally bumped another vehicle with his. They were trading paint as they were jockeying for position in the roads. So again, be prepared for heavy traffic. The other thing the driver did, my personal driver one day, literally tapped a woman and a child who were trying to make it across the street, almost in a way to send them a message of like, you need to hurry up. Again, it was very, very light. But again, these are things that you're not going to see here in the States that may take you by surprise. But again, don't rent a car there. Some of the things I'm going to go over here in the rest of this video are things about document control, cash, the hotel, markets, and tourist sites. I want to make a recommendation that you guys check out Clint Emerson. I'll have a link to his website and his YouTube in the description. But this is a fantastic book. Clint Emerson is an author who is a 20-year retired Navy SEAL who was part of DevGru. A lot of you probably don't know that name. It basically means SEAL Team 6. I worked for other government agencies, but this book called Escape the Wolf, Risk Mitigation, Personal Security Handbook for Traveling Professionals is fantastic. I highly suggest you pick a copy up, keep it with you, read it on occasion. I'm going back through it again. Although I've read it several times, I'm reading it again right now just to prep for this trip. The other book of Clint's that I highly recommend you pick up is 100 Deadly Skills. There's some things in here he talks about as far as improvised weapons that are going to be able to protect you. You know, you can't travel with all the same things that you do or have here in the States. I know personally I have a concealed carry permit and have been carrying for over 30 years, but I can't take that with me to other foreign countries. So there's got to be ways to make improvised weapons that you can use to protect yourself. So again, I highly suggest picking up 100 Deadly Skills and Escape the Wolf by Clint. Fantastic books. Okay, now to talk to a little bit about documents and how to protect those. First off, I suggest that you take pictures of all of the documents that you plan on taking with you, not just printed copies, but also pictures, and have those uploaded to the cloud. Email them to people that are going to be in the States, family members, whoever that knows about you going on this trip. That way they have all of the details of the hotels and where you should be at and when, just in case they need to engage with the State Department. Also email those to your significant other that you're traveling with and send yourself a copy. You know, God forbid you lose this stuff. You can easily go to the computer at the hotel, log in, check the emails, print it out again, or get the necessary information. Even to do that on your own phone, right? But if you lose your phone, obviously you can go to the hotel and use that. Matter of fact, I suggest actually packing an extra phone. It's one of the things that we do when we travel to some of these countries, just in case a phone gets lifted, we've got another one on us. Also recommend RFID protection for your passport, as well as credit cards and cash. I'll talk a little bit about cash here in a second. Also recommend air tags. We put these on any item that has significant value so we can track it. That includes our luggage, actually put it on the wallets, these little money clips where you can put an RFID, that are RFID blocking, and you can put an air tag are fantastic. Also recommend picking up these neck strap type of things that you can hang over your head and put your important documents in here as well as your passport. Again, in Egypt, it's one of those countries where you're going to be stopped a lot at different checkpoints and asked for your documentation. I know there's some countries we go to that as soon as we get there, we put the passport in the safe and can forget about it. Egypt is not that way. Okay, now on to cash. Egypt is a very cash-driven society. By that I mean it's not like a lot of the other countries you go to where, you know, you can come there with 20 bucks in your pocket and several credit cards and be just fine. Egypt is not that way. It's driven by cash. There's not a lot of places that are going to take credit cards. So expect to have to pack a lot of cash. I know last time I was there, I found myself going to the ATM literally every day because I was not prepared for that. You're going to have to do a lot of tipping. So just bring the cash with you. So in bringing cash with you, it's really about how much do I bring? What do I keep on my body? What do I keep at the hotel? And again, watch the other videos where I talk about tipping because you're going to do a lot of it in Egypt. But my rule of thumb is when it comes to bringing cash with me, I want to have enough cash on my person that, God forbid, something went down, I could get either one to a U.S. embassy, two to the hotel, although that's not the ideal situation. Embassy is number one, or get out of country is number two. So depending on where you're at, you know, if you're in Cairo, it could be a 30-minute cab ride to the embassy. You're not going to need that much cash on you to get there. You may need to bribe somebody in this situation where it becomes a, you know, a heated issue in the moment. More than likely that's not going to happen, but I do keep enough cash on me at any point to get me out of the country or at least to a U.S. embassy. And that includes money I may need for bribes. The average Egyptian only makes 7,000 US dollars a year. So you're not going to need a ton of US money to get you or to motivate people in Egypt to do things for you they may not normally do. Ways that I do that is I will keep money obviously in money clips on my person. I'll keep it zipped up. I also like to use things like these. This is a simple money belt. TSA approved, plastic, so it's not going to set off a lot of metal detectors. It does have a zipper in it, and you can literally zip it and unzip it and tuck your cash into it, and you can fit a lot of money in there. As you can see, this, you know, fold up $100 bills. I can put a lot of cash in there. I can keep it close to my person and not raise a lot of attention with that. And you can search on Amazon. You're going to find a lot of little nifty ways to hide cash. Again, I don't want, just like, your personal investments, you don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't keep all of my cash in one area. This looks like regular deodorant. Smells like it. It actually is. But this has been cut open and you can't really tell, and it's created a space inside of it where you can hide things like jewelry or cash, right? So this is just, some wadded up cash. I suggest you pick up items like this. You can find them on Amazon all day long. I've seen brushes, hair brushes, things like that have these cavities in them where you can stash cash. Again, I would suggest using the hotel safe, even the hotel lock boxes, should they provide it at the front desk, but I don't want to put all of my money in one area, so I tend to kind of keep it in different sections of the room or on my body so that if I do get pickpocketed, they're not getting everything I have. So again, just break it up. The next thing I want to talk to you about is some of the other things that I typically take on with me when I travel. And this is, again, we're not looking to get into full-blown fights. We're looking to get out of a situation that we shouldn't have gotten into to begin with. But if we find ourselves making a poor judgment decision, I'm looking to put time and space between me and the individual that happens to be attacking me or doing something, taking my money, coming after me. I highly recommend you pick up these. These are a Zebra stainless steel mechanical pencils. You can take these with you everywhere. They are a writing instrument. They don't look like the black tactical pens that you see all over the market in Amazon. They're not going to raise any concern. They're FAA approved. They do write, so you can use them day in and day out for writing. But the thing I like about these mechanical pencils versus the stainless steel pens is they've got a kind of a finer point on them. So it's almost down to like a hypodermic needle. And if you need to, somebody's grabbing you, trying to get a hold of you, you can easily just, wrap this up in your hand and just start jabbing. And that just gives you, again, we're not trying to get toe to toe and have a fight. We're simply trying to get out of the situation that we found ourselves in and put time and distance between us so that we can escape and get out of that bad situation. So I pack these everywhere I go. You're going to find them in my backpacks. You're going to find them on me. I highly suggest you guys pick them up. They're not expensive, like 10 bucks. And they're stainless steel and they're fantastic. Give you peace of mind no matter where you go. The other thing that you're going to run into that's probably the biggest threat, again, besides petty crimes of, pickpocketing, grabbing of the women, which I'll touch on the market, no pun intended, is impacts to you as far as your health. The water in Egypt is not safe to drink. Pharmacies are not on every street corner, so you need to make sure you pack your medication with you, whatever that is. And I highly suggest bringing anti-diarrheal medication or anti-diarrhea medication. You guys know what that is, Imodium AD, Pepto, that type of thing. Also, oral hydration salts or dehydration salts. If you find that you're having a lot of diarrhea, one of the things that can get you into trouble quickly is becoming dehydrated. So things like this that help your body hold hydration is really important. Take a basic first aid kit. There's several of them out there on Amazon, including TSA approved, that are going to have your basic bandages and stuff like that. Highly recommend tossing something like that in your suitcase. Last time there, one of the individuals I was traveling with did get sick. I mean, you can't eat the ice, you can't eat fruits and vegetables, and you can find yourself letting your guard down momentarily, not really thinking about what you're putting in your mouth, and next thing you know, you're sick. I love, love, love these. I travel with these everywhere. This is the Grail. It's a water purification system. I even take spare filters with me. Great thing about this is it's all built into here. I have drank water out of the Nile with this particular one. I've drank it out of the Jordan River. They are fantastic. They are an absolute lifesaver. I use this everywhere I go. It's literally clipped onto my backpack, and I filter the water in the hotel everywhere. If it's not coming out of a bottle or a can, it's going through this before it goes into my mouth. Can't recommend them enough. Relatively inexpensive, but they truly are a lifesaver and are going to keep you from getting sick. Some of the other things I want to talk to you about is, obviously you're going there, bring some of the common sense items. Sunscreen is going to be, you know, you don't want to get burns. I also picked up Egyptian phrase books that'll help you communicate with a lot of folks. Obviously, you could use that with apps nowadays, Google Apps, but if you can't get cell phone service, it's nice to have a backup. I want to talk to you a little bit about the markets and the tourist places. Markets are going to be the primary where you're going to get into a large crowd and you have a good chance of having pickpocketing done. The other thing that you're really going to run into as far as a risk if you're in a large crowd is what I ran into there as well. I've seen this firsthand and I've honestly had it happen to one of the ladies I was traveling with. The men can be a little bit aggressive in crowds and grope the women. So one of the things I suggest is first, don't get into a large group. If you're in a market situation, work your way around the edge of the market. Stay away from the tight groups where somebody can easily walk up and grope and grab your women. Secondly is to, men, you need to stay behind your women or close to them at all times. If you're walking down the street, you need to be behind them so that you can keep an eye of people walking towards you so that you know that they're not trying to grab or molest your lady. Also in markets, you know, you need to make sure that you've got your backpacks or your purses or whatnot with straps over and around your head. I recommend locking them. Even the little locks that are on the outside, just lock them. You know, use these little numbered locks that are TSA approved. It'll get you peace of mind that somebody's not going through your backpack as you're walking through the crowd. One of the other things, and you've probably seen a lot of these different videos on YouTube, is the tourist scams that you're going to run into at the major archaeological sites. I'm not going to go into great detail about them. They're out there. You can watch a lot of different other videos about it. You do need to know that they're there. Just use common sense, right? In Egypt, if somebody's offering to do something for you, they're going to expect a tip. So people are going to come up to you offering to take pictures for you. Personally, I wouldn't hand my phone over to anybody when I'm there, or a camera for that matter. They typically will hold those things for ransom until you pay them a certain amount of money and to give it back to you. But just use your common sense. Again, there's a lot of videos out there that you can watch that talk about those. I won't go into too much detail. But again, these are petty things. You should be easy to pick up and understand what to do. Keep your head down, say no, and stay out of areas that are going to cause you major concern. Again, want to wrap this up telling you Egypt is a very, very safe country. I would not be concerned about going there. Again, you got higher crime rates in cities here in the U.S. that you probably don't think twice about going to. So enjoy your time in Egypt. Want to bring these safety and security tips to you. As always, if you like what you saw today, please click the thumbs up. And we would love to have you subscribe as well to the channel for future videos that give you tips and tricks about traveling safely as well as having a great time. Thanks again. This is Bill from Travel Tips by Bill.